Welcome back to Ship, a team building focused podcast. This is my 10th podcast as I launch into this world. No, I haven't launched. I'm here. I've got to 10, y'all. It's been a great experience so far. I'm here to talk and work through a very special and important subject for all companies and all businesses. Building a better team with the customer in mind. This is missing from everyday life. There are companies large and small that have forgotten who are paying their salaries or the bills of the company that individual works for. You see this every day. Trust me. Thank you to everybody that has returned and given me feedback. Any feedback is welcome. That's the only way that I'm going to be able to make this more enjoyable and usable for all. Please subscribe to my LinkedIn and YouTube pages. You can also drop me an email for consultation of your team or content suggestions. RA Enterprises is here to help everyone. Anyone can learn. Anyone can help. Over my years as the Director of Operations for Premier Logistics Partners, I've learned and seen how a good team that comes together can impact others. RA Enterprises is how how I'm giving back to others, how I'm helping others, serving them. At the same time, this also makes me a better person, a better husband, a better father, and a better way to serve my team at PLP. Ripped from the headlines this week. Well, in some ways, it's the end of an era. In some ways, it's a future. But UPS and the USPS, meaning United Parcel Services and U.S. Postal Services, have agreed to and have a new contract for air cargo. It's a 5.5-year contract and starts on September 30th. Now, currently, FedEx is that current provider. And this is what they had to say with this new contract with UPS. FedEx and the U.S. Postal Service, have had a long and productive relationship for more than 20 years. Over time, our respective strategies have shifted as we transform our networks and operations for the future. We have long said we would extend the contract with the USPS if we could agree on commercial terms in the best interest of FedEx shareholders. Although we are unable to reach a mutual agreement of terms, we remain committed to delivering outstanding service throughout the completion of our contract in September. Guys, if anybody knows anything, we know the U.S. Postal Service has had issues. It's a government subsidized and funded entity, but it doesn't fall under the purview of a lot of our government regulations. So they're able to make contracts like this. UPS and FedEx are huge in this area of being able to move packages back and forth. The USPS has been able to tap into those companies in the past, FedEx, UPS, DHL, etc., to help move mail packages, not just here in the continental domestic U.S. And to Alaska and Hawaii, but then even just with other countries overseas. So it's sort of very interesting where and how this happened. So coming out of this, UPS has put out a bulletin and posted jobs. They want to hire 300 pilots to support this new contract. The funniest part is UPS just laid off 193 senior pilots last year or a short time ago. So it'd be interesting if they get those phone calls to come back to work for UPS. Now, the Postal Service has prioritized moving the mail by ground as much as possible over the last roughly 3 years, pretty much since COVID. That's due to a multitude of things. More than anything, budget constraints. That changing of sort of their processes has resulted in $500 million in reduction of revenues from FedEx over that same time, because the Postal Service is taking those and putting them more on trucks and on ground than putting them up in the air. So, what does this mean for me and you? Honestly, I'm not sure. Because we all know this, right? You always say this. The check is in the mail. So, snail mail. You should get it in a week or two. So, there you have it. That's sort of ripped for a headline. So, good luck to UPS and USPS. So, this week, I want to dive into a little bit more from raving fans, right? Great book. If you haven't already picked it up, per my recommendation, well, here's another one. Go get the book. It'll help you and your team and your organization. Well, sort of the third part of this book is deliver plus one, right? What does that mean? Deliver plus one. Well, in the book, it's sort of summarized like this. The secret says two things. First, it tells you to deliver. So again, back up. What are we trying to do? Deliver plus one, right? So again, tells you to deliver. Not sometimes, not most of the times, but all the time, deliver. No exceptions are allowed. Okay? Second part, plus one, I'll get to in just a minute. Just like in the book. But what I want you to understand is that when you're in your team and you're working within your team to deliver for your customer, to give them a service, to help them, to problem solve, to come up with a solution, that's what you should be doing 100% of the time. You want to deliver. You don't want to fall short, because what happens when you fall short? Your customer leaves you. Why do they leave you? Because you fell short. You failed. When you put your team together, you're looking at all aspects of your team. You're looking at every single team member. You're looking at the processes that they do, the reports that they look at or generate and analyze, the pricing that they are putting in place, or the calculations for a quote for something. Your team in the warehouse is putting together and making sure inventory is available. Your groundskeepers that work and do landscaping, they're making sure they have enough gasoline to get through the day. So your team has to work together. They have to gel to a common goal of delivering. You got to think about that. You have to deliver. What is this podcast about? What am I about right now? OSHIP is about building a team, and I'm using my hands here, for your customer. If you know what your customer wants, if you know what your segment of business entails, service, product, delivery, whichever segment you're in, and you know what your customer wants, and you have your customer in mind as you're putting all those bodies in the different seats, well, guess what? You're going to deliver. You're going to deliver more times than you know, because it's just going to keep snowballing. It's going to keep turning. It's going to keep grinding. You as a leader, as a CEO, as an owner, as a president, as a board member, you don't know the ins and outs of what all your teams are doing, right? All your departments are doing. But if you coordinate and put those teams together with the common goal of the customer, you will always have a team that delivers. Always. I guarantee you that if you don't pay attention to those individual seats, I guarantee you will have failures. I guarantee you will have items missed. It's sort of like getting a package of, I don't know, take my shelving unit right here, right? That's actually extremely old. There's definitely a history lesson on that. It dates back to the 70s, but I'll dive into the history lesson of that guy some other time. It's a doozy, but think about it. A lot of times we go to Walmart, Costco, Sam's, Target, IKEA. You order it from Amazon or Wayfair. It comes in a flat pack box that's 4 or 5 inches tall and who knows how long, depending on the item that you're getting. And then you put it together. There's nothing worse than opening one of those and finding out that you're missing a screw. Okay. If a team member is not correct on your team in a seat, the end user gets that package, missing a screw. And then I can't put together a shelving unit. Same thing goes now with modern TVs, right? Modern TVs are flat and skinny. They can go up on a wall. Just imagine if that TV came without a power cord. no power cord, no TV, no sports, no golf, no baseball. None of those things happen. No evening news unless you got a radio. So it's important that you look at your team to deliver for your customer. Now let's back up a minute. So let's go back to the statement, right? Deliver plus one. So we're delivering, we're putting together a team to talk to a customer. We have to train those employees. We have to cultivate those employees. We got to support those employees. And more than anything, you got to have them feel like a team. Feel inside their heart, right here, right? If you don't have a team that is gelling, if you don't have a team that has cohesiveness, that has good, different thoughts to put them together, you want a team that when somebody is struggling, somebody else picks them up, lifts them up. If you don't have a team that is lifting each member up when they're down, when they actually do make a mistake, oh, don't worry about it, Jim Bob, we got you. I got this one. The support within your team is so important because that support can be transitioned into the plus one. Okay? Listen to this. So this is now on the plus one. It is described in the book as sort of the rule of 1%. It's very interesting what I just said, right? You got to lift up the team. You got to support the team. You got to say, hey, we got you. Because at the end of the day, changing something just a smidgen will multiply. So listen to this. You can make big changes in almost anything or achieve great things in your life by improving or changing 1%. Things can't help but improve if you keep it at 1% improvement at a time. So if you're supporting your team, if your team is supporting each other and going through the different things that they do, and somebody stumbles, and your team members pick them up, so that one team member is in a rut. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing, not at all. But if you're picking up your teammate when they're down, if you're filling in when they're on vacation, if you're doing those things to deliver a product or service or some type of costing or consultation to your customer, that customer's experience is elevated. Elevation of the customer experience is so important. If that's through email, through in-person visits, through phone calls, that customer experience is so key. Yes, we have computers, we have cell phones, we have all sorts of things in our lives that make communication easier. And I covered this last week. Interacting with your customer, that one-to-one interaction with your customer could be the 1%. It could be the 1% that wins you the deal. That 5.5-year deal that UPS just won. Who knows what their 1% is? But that 1% made the USPS sort of like the warm and fuzzies. Oh, you want your customers to feel the warm and fuzzies. You want to do everything just a single percentage point better than you did yesterday. If you do that, you will 100%, bar none, your business, your company, your vertical, your organization, your team, your pod will be successful on a level that you will not understand because you will just be reaping the benefits. You'll be like, oh, what happened? How did we get all these customers? How did we all of a sudden go from 5 customers to 20 in 2 weeks? Word of mouth, right? If you deliver +1 for your customers, if you deliver a outstanding experience for your customers, an outstanding product that isn't missing anything, that isn't dinged or binged or dented when they receive it, word of mouth. They will talk to their friends. They will talk at industry conferences to their competitors. Because at the time that they're at those conferences, they're not competitors anymore. They're trying to help each other out. We have a big one coming up this next week for the trucking industry, especially if you're a broker or 3PL. It's the TIA, Capital Ideas Conference. All of us brokers go to this conference. Not all of us. Some of us do, some of us don't. I went last year. It was a great experience. I'm not going this year. It actually overlaps the Masters Golf Tournament this year, which is interesting timing. But nonetheless, we're all not competitors when we're at this conference. We're there to make our industry of brokers and 3PLs the best it possibly can be, making sure that we are being above board in everything we do. That's the way our industry is gelling. The TIA is there to support us in that and making sure that our industry vertical is sort of walking the same walk and talking the same talk. If we're all doing that and we're getting together and we're sharing those ideas and we're putting standards in certain areas of all of our businesses, guess who wins, y'all? My customer, your customer. I'm in a brokerage. We ship things. We have LTL and truckload shipping going on every single day. Delivering plus one by vetting a customer a little different. Wow. Or not a customer, a carrier. Wow. Game changer. Game changer. Packaging. Game changer. Just thinking about ways to streamline a customer's operations. If you work in, let's just take retail for a second. You're noticing that Johnny Sue is having a little bit of a bad day, and she's running a register, right? You can just see with your eyes that she is having a down day. You are a backup, or I don't know. I haven't worked in retail a long time, so I don't know all the rules. But maybe you can go relieve her and let her just go relax for a little while. So when those people come through the lines and they're checking out, that's delivering a plus one. That's supporting your teammate. That's communicating with your teammate. That's having a heart for that teammate. That's caring about your teammate. When teammates care and do those things, their bond between the two become better. It does not have to be just world changing. Just the small little steps. Just the small steps. So I challenge you over the next week. Think about how you and your department and your team and your organization, number one, delivers to your customer. Do you know what your customer wants? Do you know how to get the customer what they want? Then think about how every single day, every single hour, every single 15 minutes, you can do something just 1% difference. Over the next week, think about that. Put that into play. The changes for you, your team, and your business will multiply. It might not be instantaneous. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But 6 months from now, 9 months from now, 6 years from now, your business will be better and stronger, and your name will be out there. Your name will be spoken by your customers and in conversations where all of a sudden you'll get a new customer just because somebody spoke about you, about how you took care of them, how your team took care of them, how your team cared and delivered the plus one. Shout out corner. Augusta National Golf Club, but more specifically, the grounds crews and greenskeepers at Augusta National. It is the annual site of the Masters Golf Tournament, which actually is this coming week. Y'all, the Masters is like one of the holy grails of golfers. It is. I've been there, and it's just, I cannot tell you just what it's like being there. It is absolutely great. But the grounds crew and the greenskeepers keep the course in tip-top shape. It's just everything from the fairways to the bunkers to the bathrooms to the pine straw. It is, guys, I can't put enough into this for the shout out corner. It is almost like, to me, going to Disney, either the California park or or all the ones in Florida. It's just, you don't ever see trash. You don't ever see anything out of place. Everything is just perfect. It is absolutely nuts. So the club is not operational year round as far as golf is concerned. You can only play golf a few times or for a certain set time period every year. But the clubhouse itself is open for the members. It's a very limited group, and they all have green jackets. That's what they wear when they're at the club. It's really, really cool. But honestly, one of the most things that impresses me is just the way the grass is mowed. Everything from the designs on how they mow. But one thing in particularly is the uniform fairway mowing. Now, every single fairway is mowed the same direction. So it looks someone's yard, you see lines that go back and forth, right? You can see because the blades of grass have changed, so the light hits it differently. Well, at Augusta, all the fairways are mowed from green towards the tee. So the blades of grass are actually bent this way a little bit. When that ball comes to hit like this, it takes the spin off because of the way the blades of grass are. It's one of those unique perspectives of the Masters. There's a lot more unique items that talks about the greenskeepers. Please see the link above my head right now. It's an article from April 7th, 2021. It's a really, really good read, so I recommend that. The other reason why this is Shout-Out Corner material is because of what Augusta National is doing to grow the game of golf. They, over history and over time, have wanted to involve children and now more than anything, young ladies into that world. We do not have on the LPGA, we do not have a Augusta National tournament. That might be coming one day. But what they have done, since 2019, they have the Augusta National Women's Amateur Tournament. It's held over 3 days. 2 days it's on courses in Augusta, and the third day it is held at Augusta National. So these young ladies are able to play the game in a national format, a world format, and at Augusta National, which is really, really cool. So they do a children's drive, putt, and chip, which is on Sundays of beginning Master Week. It's just what Augusta National is doing to grow the game is just, it's outstanding. So keep it up, Augusta National. We'd love to get that invite personalized to me. Yes, you can send it to Eric Ransom. Absolutely. I will come with, well, actually, no, I won't have bells and whistles because you guys don't allow those things, which is fine. I will come dressed as I am right now. Well, not right now, but pretty close to it. And I'll enjoy some good golf. So thank you, Augusta National, again. Quote of the Week Corner. If you don't get goosebumps when you walk into this place, you don't have a pulse. Don Sutton, Hall of Fame baseball player. That's his quote about the Masters. Of all the things that Don Sutton did in Major League Baseball, as a player and as an announcer, World Series, the great teams he's been around, the iconic people and players that he's been around over his time frame that he was involved, it's goosebumps at Augusta National. Basically saying, well, sorry, I'm just talking about this. I'm getting goosebumps right now. I don't know if you can see it. But again, it is a holy grail to amateur golf, to all golfers, professional or amateur. Very important. Yes. Thank you, Don. Drop me an email at the address above. Please subscribe or follow me on YouTube or LinkedIn. Hope everybody has a great week. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a great week. God bless you.